The NTSB comes out with probable cause on Kobe Bryant's crash. Is Sun and Fun really happening? And more on this episode of Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and welcome to this episode. I'm on location for my production company, S Films, and so not in our usual studio, but thought I'd get a video out anyway. We're going to get to the Sun and Fun in a moment, but first, the NTSB has released their findings for the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash. For a great breakdown of this, check out Juan Brown's explanation at Blanco Lirio. The link is up here. And here's the TLDR version. It's the pilot's fault. It's not the fault of ATC. It's not the fault of the helicopter. It was the pilot. He flew into solid clouds, what we call IMC, or Instrument Meteorological Conditions, and he became spatially disoriented. That means he thought he was level when in fact he was banking. And it's easy for the human body to be confused when you have no visual cues as to the horizon. The pilot has to use and trust his instruments, and that didn't happen here, and the result was tragic. Some people are calling for like a terrain warning system or another system. But for me, and I don't hear anybody else saying this, it doesn't matter what equipment is on the plane if the pilot doesn't use it. He didn't use his attitude indicator. That would have saved them. He didn't use his autopilot. That would have saved them. Adding another system that the pilot ignores won't stop a tragedy like this from happening. To me, the calls for mandatory additional equipment is senseless. The pilot had instruments. He had equipment on board this helicopter that, if properly used, would have mitigated the crash. Another call out in the NTSB report is that while ATC didn't strictly adhere to their communication protocols, their actions had no bearing on this tragic outcome. So all these frivolous lawsuits targeting ATC are just a waste of everyone's time. It wasn't their fault. It was the pilot's fault. And it wasn't Kobe's fault either. The NTSB took the extra step to report that there was no pressure exerted to complete the mission by the company or the client. Kobe and the pilot had become friends. It was probably the self-induced pressure the pilot put on himself to complete the mission and not let down his friend. So there's a lot as pilots and people that we can take away here. Get-there-itis is real, and it needs to be dealt with. Internal pressure to get there is just as bad as external pressure to get there. I know that when I've been in that situation, I just need to step back, take a deep breath, and determine what is the risk and is it really worth it. And I need to continue to do scenario-based training and be proficient in the instruments aboard my aircraft. Not just turns around a point or lazy eights, but train on specific scenarios. In this Kobe Bryant crash, the helicopter pilot had a grand total of 2 hours of actually flying in the clouds, which actually isn't unusual for helicopter pilots. But this guy was an instrument instructor. To me, that's crazy. And flying is an extremely perishable skill. I need to practice my IMC flying. I think about that especially right now, as my plane's been down for several months with a prop strike and getting the engine pulled and all that. When I get her back, I'm grabbing a safety pilot, and I'm going to be doing some IMC practice, and not just get current, but get good and proficient. Okay, that's the quick rundown on Kobe. Let's turn to the upcoming Sun and Fun. 1 year ago, vendors were getting their materials together, aviation enthusiasts were making their Sun and Fun plans, and even as we went into March, hope was still there that it would all be okay. Then the tidal wave of closures hit, and in spite of trying to keep it open, Sun and Fun had to cancel the event for 2020. But this year is different. Sun and Fun has had 12 months to get ready in the face of a global pandemic. And are they ready to go? Well, let's talk to John Lights Leanouts to get an answer to that question.
Sure, Dan, I can answer that question. We are absolutely unequivocally going to have Sun and Fun 21 this year. And we're doing it because we can do it right. We have collaborated with our leaders in the city, the county, the state of Florida, and following all CDC requests and mandates, We'll ensure that all the guests are provided an opportunity to stay safe by wearing masks where appropriate, specifically in buildings. Outside is an option, social distancing everywhere, minimum crowding in buildings, and we'll be cleaning everything all day long, every day, all day. As well as we have a special COVID team put together who is going to be monitoring and updating our processes as we approach the event and change as required, and then ensuring that all those that I just listed, all those rules are followed throughout the week that we have the fly-in. So please come and join us. It's going to be a great gathering of aviation enthusiasts. It'll be safe, it'll be fun, it'll be enjoyable, and it's April 13 to 18. See you there.
And there you have it from the head man himself at Sun and Fun. He went on to tell me that they were expecting much smaller pre-sales, but it's actually been better than forecasted. He said that the only way Sun and Fun would not happen is if there was a federal or state mandate. They're scaling a few things back, like some of the gatherings, but exhibit halls, air shows, campgrounds, forums, seminars will all be open and flourishing. He said that for outdoors, masks are requested but not mandatory, but they are required for inside enclosures. Social distancing will be requested. And as Light said, April 13th through the 18th, Lakeland, Florida, Sun and Fun. Okay, on to some channel stuff. As many of you know, and I mentioned earlier, my Cessna 210 Lola had a prop strike, and you can watch all about that video here. The engine has been removed and examined. There's no damage from the prop strike, but right now, while it's all apart in a shop in Alabama, I have a decision facing me. Do I go ahead and overhaul it? That's a lot of money, certainly worth it. It's good money to spend, but that's a lot of money. And I'm weighing the options right now. I'm not sure if I'll just do some replacements or if I'll go all the way into overhaul. The engine is actually fairly close to TBO, so I don't know. Also, we've got our next season of In the Hangar coming up, and we'll be shooting about 30 episodes on March 5th through the 7th. Unfortunately, we won't have a studio audience this time. But we've got some great episodes lined up, and we're working on lining up a few others as well. I'm excited that we have 2 new sponsors, and I'll be telling you about that very shortly. And by the way, the channel has been growing greatly over the last few weeks, and Christy and I thank you for that. Please continue to hit like and comment and subscribe, all that stuff. I know it becomes a broken record, but it really does help the channel. And we're still running that pre-sale deal on the t-shirts. So go to takingoff.s-films.com/store and use pre-order, all caps, for 10% off. I'll take the code away when the shirts arrive, so hurry over there and pre-order your t-shirts. And thanks also to all the Hangar Club members who have joined. It really helps. And you can join at the link below. And one last rant today. Please, please, please. There's been about 30 of these same comments on Christy's video about her beloved Wong Warrior being flown inverted that cleverly point out that there may be bold pilots and there may be old pilots, yada, yada. Wow, I've never heard that one. We should just number our pilot cliches to save some time, save those fingers from typing. Let's call that one number 37. Then you can give those fingers a break from typing and just write in the comment section 37. Then we can chuckle and nod at the wisdom of that saying. Well, that's all I have today. Thanks for watching, and remember, superior judgment trumps superior skills. Take care.